My name is Roselyne. I'm an economist in Kenya, and clearly quite passionate about blockchain technology, emerging tech, and where the future of value is headed. I currently work with Pesabase, which is a peer-to-peer remittance platform. It basically looks to solve the problem of high remittance costs across the continent because we're offering literally 1% on transfers, and that is quite unbeatable when you consider different remittance platforms. So we're serving primarily the Australia to East Africa markets, and this really will grow over time as we onboard more, and definitely growing this out as we understand our users' needs and seek to serve them in the best way possible using this technology.
Thank you for that. That was a great bio. It's finally great to meet you. I know that you've been doing a lot of work with Coyote for African Blockchain Institute as well. So it's great to, meet another female in blockchain in Africa who's doing their part to make sure that there's mass adoption in Africa and that we're not left behind. So I'm really grateful to be able to meet you. So I do have a few questions. My first question is, how or why did you get into blockchain?
So my how and my why, that was around 2017. I was pretty curious about the future of value, and especially thinking about cybersecurity as a huge issue. So learning about, well, the gaps in that and how much people weren't really talking about it, I felt it was a niche area that I had to do something about. And I got learning about different protocols, technologies, statistics around that. And I just felt, whoa, we're almost sitting ducks if we do nothing about this, because, some kid behind a screen could literally just get your access codes, and everything you've worked for so long could just be wiped out in less than 5 minutes. And what do you do? Who do you run to? Who can you call? So I felt I needed to be part of the solution. And I thought I would do that through getting a master's in data science. But well, here we are, no master's in data science, but becoming literally, an influencer within the blockchain ecosystem, because I believe then that this tech really has a lot to offer, but there are rails to be built, there are bridges to be built in terms of education, in terms of awareness, policy, and well, it's a lot of long-term work, because we can't really reap the benefits of technology in its earliest stages. And that is arguable because, well, for the early stages of internet, then we couldn't have teleconferencing as efficiently or as seamlessly as we do now. Now, but those who stuck in the early stages and built then are the ones who are literally calling the shots more or less right now. So really, I've seen the value in just playing the long game with tech, because if you're looking for immediate gains, then well, you might find something or might lose, but in the long term, then there's a lot of benefit to be gained.
I'm glad that you mentioned playing the long game, because a lot of people who are in this space understand that that's the goal. It's important for us all to not only be inviting as a community, but also provide education so that people can stay long and understand and start to build some of the use cases that we know that can come through from this technology. So what are you seeing in Africa as some of the thought process behind blockchain and the technology?
Right. So there are quite a number of schools of thought. So you have the entrepreneurs who are building very industry specific use cases. So there are those who are building out in blockchain for agriculture, blockchain for supply chain ecosystems, blockchain for solar energy use cases. And these are really, as you would say, on the ground and business type or industry-based use case kind of projects. And these, as I said, these ones are definitely playing the long game. So you can check out projects like Melanin Solar, and really some that are in Botswana, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria, really serving out the communities. Then you have those who are on the policy side trying to advocate, like through the Blockchain Association of Uganda, Blockchain Association of Kenya, blockchain user Nigeria group, and they're really trying to build the rails with government to try and create, a conducive environment, especially when looking to support entrepreneurs then who are building out some of these new use cases. And why do they need that? Then I mentioned a case like land. Land has been, well, historically quite sensitive as a topic, because then when you think about, inheritance rights and how land is passed from one person to another within a family, and you realize like so many years down the line that you have some very contentious court cases. So when you're looking to introduce a tech like blockchain that's sure to eliminate some of these issues, then and there's no regulation that's first of all mandating digitization of these land records, then how can blockchain then really help the masses? And yet that's a perfect use case, because I shouldn't have to go through, let's say, 5 months or 6 months to establish or get a title, because in those 6 months, if I had gotten my ownership or my titular documents on my lease, I could have been able to access credit and do business within those 6 months. But because I can't, then hey, here I am stuck. Now, blockchain is set to unlock such amazing opportunities, especially through tokenization, because when you consider especially the emerging markets, then there are a lot of small businesses that are, just interlinked in one massive network, So you really can't just tell them all to scale up so that they can get the structures that they need to get credit. We need way more responsive systems, let's say like reputation systems. Mm-hmm. So like one example is with what a company called, I think Trigger Foods have done with small scale traders. So let's say I'm selling vegetables and I don't have, that much to call collateral in my name, but I do have records of sales. Like if I sell out oranges and apples and like maybe cabbages by 12 o'clock, then I know that maybe by 2 o'clock I need to go for some more. But if I don't have more cash, then you know that over a 2-week period, then these are my volumes. Then you know that by a certain time I definitely will pay, or I definitely will sell out. So this reputation system then is actually proof that I can repay. So I may not have collateral, but my proof of transaction then is evident on the blockchain. I can use that to access credit. So you realize that in that case, regulation really needs to come in so that people can then access these services.
Nice. I love the way that you broke that down. That really hones in the use cases for blockchain technology. And I've realized in speaking to a lot of African women that when we talk about use cases, we're talking about everyday usage for the community and things that are needed right now, and how the technology can improve our current everyday life. And I love that. And, as a person who lives in the US, a lot of people just associate blockchain with, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and that's it. It's an investment vehicle and that's the extent of it. But when you talk to other people outside of the US, you start to get a real understanding of the value people place on this technology. And I love hearing the different type of values, and land tenure was one of those values that was mentioned before, as well as supply chain, so it's very important that people realize that there's value behind the technology, at least to, our community. So you mentioned a lot, and I think you probably have spoken to this already. What does blockchain specifically mean to you?
All right, for me, it's a key to community, because the power of decentralization. I mean, I think we've barely scratched the surface in terms of unlocking that, because Bitcoin was that gateway taster that once we've tasted this, for me, once I've tasted the goodness of Bitcoin, I really can't go back, because then I'm looking at how can I transact with my peers without trying to verify, oh, what's their background, what are their background checks, what, all these other details, And if blockchain for me is introducing that burden of trust that's been solved over there, then whoa, I want to do business. I want to get rich while at it. Of course, maybe set something up for my grandkids. Should I live that long? These are the aspirations that I think every young person would imagine, because if I had a conversation recently with a friend, and we it just became so clear to us that we really talk about things like retirement and what life is really after your productive years. And well, that may seem so far away, but in a time when then the very nature of work is changing, you might find yourself retiring like at 40, and so what happens after that? How will you live? How will you support your family? How will you pursue your dreams? Because these are the things that we tend to think about well into the night, or maybe early morning, or dream about. And really, for me, blockchain is a key to that I can transact with my peers and literally create the value that I need to.
I love that. I love that you brought it full circle to how we think about life, right? We go through different stages and we get to retirement, and a lot of us, like you're correct, don't even think that far. And we're taking day by day, but not having that vision of what happens when we do retire. So I like the way that you tied in the value aspect of cryptocurrency and the technology together. So my other question is, how do you see blockchain improving the Black community / African diaspora?
Again, I'll build upon just slightly further upon the PAF community. And I think one of the key issues that really comes out, especially when we're thinking about, empowering the Black community, is just in terms of economic empowerment. Because I think at this point in time, we have collectively around the world a unanimous voice. And this is that in terms of our cultural expression, our cultural identity, be it through media, music, arts, I think I just see it really all around the world that our voice is unanimous, it's unique, it's strongly coming out, and it's strongly expressive in a way that we are proud of our identity. We own our history, own our journey, we share it, we hear each other's struggles. And now the next level to that from the social aspect is the economic aspect. So are we in enterprise, are we in business, are we scaling globally? And we are hearing now the first stories of like I think with Tyler Perry, if maybe you followed his story, that well, he now owns his own like studio, and whoa, that was a huge inspiration to a lot of guys. Like, I think when he was just walking in there, like sharing his dream, like, enough times he'd drive by there, but now he's driving to that place, and he's employing a lot of guys, and that's such a huge inspiration. So he's but one of others who then are showing the younger generation, guys, we can do this, we can build, we can create our own wealth, we can distribute this wealth securely. And where does blockchain come into that? Simply that it's that we can have transparency to the wealth, both creation and distribution, because I believe that, or rather my philosophy around wealth, that wealth isn't to be just extracted as in by just like making people work for you and then you become richer, because, well, that's explicitly capitalism in one way. But in terms of wealth creation, it's that I can see the value in you and the value that you can bring to the table. We need to agree on a partnership or a form of value exchange then that will ensure that your interests and mine are mutually protected, mutually, in a way multiplied, so that we actually creating value beyond ourselves, so that we're not just trying to get, our own bread and rice buttered up, but we're thinking community and we're building trust generationally. So blockchain is to ensure transparency to that, but also just to protect that across the board, so that it's not lost, so to speak, in the papers.
Those are great ways of thinking of blockchain for the community. I love the fact that you said wealth generation, thinking about the future, thinking about the community. Community is a strong word, and that's what definitely blockchain brings. And that's what a lot of people who are looking from the outside in don't realize. There's like a community, and you can't shake this community because it's not just, certain set of people. It's a global community that we have here, and we're able to connect with everyone and anyone, which is really the way the world should be, right? So my last question for you is, there's a lot of people that are watching these videos, and after watching it, they hear the word technology, 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 and they're thinking that they have to be technical in order to understand it, or be in one of any of these ladies' shoes. And can you speak to that as an African woman who is in this space, and you're paving the way for the next generation, and you're creating a lot of great things in this space, but you're not a technical person? Can you shed some light for those people who still have doubt and think that it's only for those who are technical?
All right. So first up, when you're building a business, do you have to be the CEO?
Okay.
There's your answer. Every business needs comms, marketing, needs accountants, needs the finance team, needs the IT team, needs the support team, needs the leadership, needs the board, needs and everyone on board. So that's the answer. Like, tech is a tool, in my view. So tool doesn't mean that you can't build a home.
Love it. And there you have it. Tech is a tool. It does not mean that you can't build a home. Okay. I love it. I love it.
So, and I mean, it's really simple in the sense that, yes, if you aspire to be a software developer, go ahead and learn the skill. Nothing stops you. I mean, there are hundreds of free courses out there. But if you do not feel that technical software development is your niche, hey, there are other things to do. So I'm in research, someone else is in sales, someone else is in compliance, someone else is in the technical leadership. So do what you are good at and have no excuses for that or apologies like you're not a techie.
All right. So please share your social media handles so that people can get in contact with you, as well as, any projects that you're working on that you want people to know about.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. So I'm on Twitter, Miss Blockchain, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, Roselyne 10. So I'm happy to connect.